Hello again, everyone. This is Zombie Kids Rule, and I'm finally back with another tutorial video. It's been a little while. I have a lot less time to record in a privately, I guess, where it's not too loud. So I apologize for that. I do have a lot of catch-up videos to make, so I'm going to try to get some of them done while I'm traveling on vacation. But I think I have some quiet time. So this tutorial is going to be about using so I did a previous video about using party member names for show choices, but this is actually a much simpler and more efficient way to do it. It's using a script, and so you're going to use a script that allows you to use whichever party members, their names, in your show choices. So whether that's you have one party member, two party members, three party members. Right now up to eight. I have eight in my test project. So you can have up to eight party members, but you can have more. And so this is a script that makes it very, very quick and simple and efficient. The reason it's taken me so long to make this tutorial is because honestly, I was hoping to better understand exactly how the script is working so that I could better explain it. But the end result is I've read the explanation numerous times. I don't really fully understand it. I know what it's doing, and I know why it's doing it, but I still don't have a solid grasp on the JavaScript concepts that are being used. And so rather than delay in explaining this anymore, I'm going to demo it. I'm going to go through the explanation, and I'm going to link to a thread on rpgmakerweb.com, the forums over there. And basically, it's a thread where I asked a question about something. I can't even remember what it was, but during the evolution of getting help, this script was proposed as a solution. Basically, one of the users was like, "Hey, why are you doing all these conditional branches? Why are you doing this in a in a inefficient way?" And my response was, "Because I don't know a better way to do it." And this script was proposed. And then later in the thread, I was trying to understand the script, and so I said, "Hey, look, this is my understanding. Can anybody explain the parts where I'm wrong, or I just don't have a good understanding?" And one of the users over there did take the time to explain it. Again, I still don't really have a good grasp of what the JavaScript is doing in certain parts. So instead, I'm just going to link to it. And if you want to understand it better, you can go to that thread, read it, and maybe you'll understand it better. But at the default, this works. So I'm using this more and more now, and so I wanted to explain it by itself before I ended up highlighting it in some other video. So here's once again, this is using a script in an event to take however many party members you have, whether it be one up to eight. You could actually have more, but in this test project, I only have eight actors set up. So it's basically taking whoever's in your party and using their names as your show choices. So most commonly, this would be used for, hey, who's going to do something? Who's going to speak to an NPC? Who's going to try to use a skill? Who's going to try to do something? And you want any of your party members to be able to be selected. So I'll demo it first. Sorry for that long intro, but I'll do the demo here. And so here we go. I'm going to walk over and talk to this character. And right now, I only have one party member. It's Reed. So if I click Reed, it's going to say, "Hello, Reed." This is just a placeholder to show what it's doing. Click again. Never mind. It just exit. Okay, so I'm going to go into Systems, or I'm going to go into the database and go into the Systems. And I'm going to add some more characters here. So let's throw in Rosa. And then let's do three at first. So we'll do Albert. Okay. So we have Reed, Rosa, and Albert in that order. So I'm going to go ahead and play test again. All right. So now it has those three choices in that order: Reed, Rosa, and Albert. It's the way they're added to the party. So if I click on Albert, it'll say hello, Albert. If I click on Rosa, it'll say hello, Rosa. And never mind just backs me out. So now I'm going to go ahead and change it one more time. And what we're going to do is we're going to reverse these. So I'm going to put Rosa. I'm going to add all 8 party members so you can see what it looks like. Okay, so we're going to add all 8 party members in here. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to say my other caveats that I forgot earlier, and that is, as I've indicated in my previous videos, I do not claim to be an expert by any means. I'm still learning, MZ. And so let me just check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, there's 8 party members now. All right. So again, just the icon changed because now Rosa is the lead in the party. So again, I don't claim to be an expert. I'm still learning. There's still a lot for me to learn. I'm still experimenting with MZ, and so I never claim that these tutorials are the best way to do something or the most efficient way to do something. I'm just making tutorials for things that I have discovered that work, at least to the amount of testing that I do, and that it might be helpful for someone else. I'm sure I will find other ways to do things just like this, where in the past I did a certain way of using party member names for so choices. This is a far more efficient way of doing that. So don't claim to be an expert, and or that this way of doing it is the best way or the most efficient way, what have you. This is just a way that I have seen that works based on the testing that I have done. As I've said before, I don't spend a lot of time on fancy graphics right now. I'm focused more on experimenting with MZ to learn how it works, what I can do with it, and that sort of thing. So there may be other caveats. I forget what they are. So let me play this. Let me play test this. Yes, I want to save. And so now we have 8 party members. And the great thing about this script is it accommodates for that. So now I can scroll up and down with my mouse wheel, or I can use my arrow keys, right? And it shows more. It shows all eight members. So if I created more actors in the database, I could add more actors, and it would have more choices. Okay, so that's kind of cool. If I click on Rosa, it says hi, hello Rosa, and again, it just goes through, right? So the messaging isn't important. It's just basically showing that it is properly identifying the um, the party member who is speaking or acting or what have you. Okay. All right. So that's the demo. I'm gonna go back and get rid of some of these before I forget, just really quickly. So we'll get rid of these. We'll go back to read, and that'll be it. Okay, so what's actually happening in the event? It's actually very simple. So I'm going to show you the full event here. It's actually very short. So this right here, this part here, this is the script that I was talking about. Okay, so I'm going to go down here. Now, again, I'm going to try to explain this to the best of the limited thing that I have, and then I'm gonna put in the I will put in the chat, I guess, or not the chat. I'm sorry. I will put in the description of this video the thread that explains all this stuff. So anyway, here's what's happening. So script. First of all, how do we get here? If we double click and we get into the event commands, on page 3 is under advanced is your script. So you can basically put this entire script here, and it's going to work. The other thing I might do is, if I can, I may try to copy and paste this into the description of the video. That might help you. Just know that if you copy and paste something, Sometimes it may not work exactly the right way, especially with, for instance, quotation marks. I've noticed that when I copy and paste something, sometimes the quotation marks don't work correctly when I copy and paste, whether it be, I think it might be single quotes usually, but regardless, just know that copying pasting may not work 100% right. Uh, it may not work the same way as typing it yourself. Anyway, it's weird, but I've noticed that. So anyway, what's happening here? So under the script, constant, C-O-N-S-T, const. Choices. This is actually, it's like a variable. Okay, if you're using event commands, equals an empty array. So this is basically setting an array, an empty array called choices. Then the next part of this, so semicolon. Then it's going to use $gameparty.members, and this is brackets. So this is basically all of your party members, right? And then dot for each. This is something that is going to essentially cycle through all of the party members. Now, this is where I start to get a little shaky. M, and then this is an arrow function, so an equal sign and a greater than sign. I'm not really adept at what arrow functions are doing. I've even read the description and I still don't quite grasp it. But M, equal sign, greater than, is an arrow function. Choices is the array. Dot push, so this is pushing a value to the array. M dot name, and then there you have to be very careful here. There's a full set of parentheses, so open and closed. Then there's another closing parentheses, because that goes back to this one. And then there's another closing parentheses. So wait a second, I'm sorry, no. This right here is its own. This closing parentheses goes back to here, and then this closing parentheses goes back to here, and then you have a semicolon. So you have to be very careful not to miss one of these parentheses. So this line is basically functioning as, we're going to take all of the party members that are currently in your party, we're going to go through each one, and we're going to push their name to the array called choices. That's what this line is essentially doing. Then it's also going to the next line, so you have a semicolon, next line, choices, again referring to the array, dot push, so we're adding a value, we're adding the value never mind to that array. Because as you saw in the demo, it's each party member's name in whichever order it's in, and then also there's that last choice of never mind, where you're basically canceling, you're exiting. That's what this is doing, semicolon. Then we're going to get into the event command for show choices. So first, let me just show you that. If I double click here and I go to page 1 of event commands and I look at show choices, I get to, my choices are here. So by default, it only lets you have 6 choices through the event command option. So here's my choices. And then I have a bunch of options over here. I have to set the background. So is my background going to be a window? Is it going to be dim? Is it going to be transparent? I have to set my window position. Is it going to be to the right? Is it going to be to the left? Is it going to be in the middle? Then I have to set my default, right? My default meaning the option that's going to be chosen by default. Is it the choices 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And then cancel, if I want to have cancel as an option. So so in this case, it's choice 2, but because it's no. But I also have the choice of, I could do a branch. I could disallow, meaning you can't you can't like press escape to cancel your choices. Or I can have any of my choices that are options. So these are all part of the event command show choices, and those have to be replicated in the script. Okay, so again, background, window position, default, cancel, and your choices. So that's what's happening in these next lines. So $game message dot set choices So I'm setting the choices, right? And here's my within that window I showed you. Here's my choices, and then this is where I start to get a little bit off. All right, so I'm not even going to try to explain this. I read it and then I forgot again. I'm gonna link you to the thread. Choices.length is actually taking the length of the array choices and it's subtracting one from it. So in the array, the position values in the array start at 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, those are the position values within the array. And anyway, so that's, again, I'm not going to try to fully explain this. Semicolon. Now, this is where it's setting that background. So $game message dot set choices background is a value of 1. And that goes to, the same as that that event show choices event command. And then it's the position type. So where's it going to be? Right, left, or middle? So $game message dot set choices position type, and this is a value of 1. Remember, pay very close attention to the capitalization, because if you don't capitalize the right letters, then it won't work. So you do have to pay very close attention to the capitalizations. I'm not highlighting them, but like for and then each the E is capitalized. So this is setting the position of where your choices are going to show up on the screen. And then $game message dot set choice callback and this is that arrow function, equal sign greater than, and then there's a bracket. Now, again, I'm not going to explain this in detail because I don't have a great understanding of this. But basically, in this script, it has to know to get an input and also to wait for an input and then to do something based on the input that you do. So this part here is where it's going to allow for that input for you to make a choice or for the player to make a choice, and also to wait until that choice is made. So here's this callback function. Again, you can read about callback functions in JavaScript. I still don't have a wonderful understanding of it. After this bracket, we have this new line, $game variables dot set value. I've highlighted this before. I've used this a lot before. This is just using a script to set a value of a variable, like you would in using the event command for variables. And then 106 is my variable that I'm using. I'm using the variable 106. Okay, which is actually, I think, choice selection is the name of it. And then this is getting a little bit weird for me. I don't fully understand this, so I'm not going to try to fully explain it. I'm just going to read it. So n, the letter n, exclamation point equals choices dot length minus 1. So again, this is referring back to that array. Question mark n colon minus 1 closing brackets. So we've got that starts here. So I'm sorry, not bracket, opening parentheses, closing parentheses, semicolon. Then you have the closing bracket. So there's the bracket, there's the closing bracket, there's the other parentheses. So actually, sorry, I misdescribed that. This closing parentheses goes to this opening parentheses. And then this closing parentheses goes to this open parentheses. Here's your open bracket. Here's your closing bracket. Okay. So again, what is this doing? This area here, this and this, is basically allowing the script to get an input based on the character, your player, whichever input they're selecting from the show choices, and assigning it to the variable 106. And then this last part is, again, doing that wait. So it's going to wait for that input. So this dot set wait mode, and again, pay attention to capitalization, and then in single quotations, message, okay? And I'm just going to say again, where I've experienced with copy and pasting, that the single quotation can get messed up in the script field. So you might have to delete, if you copied and pasted this, let's say from the description of the video, then you might have to delete these single quotes in the script field and then retype them, just as a warning. Okay, so that's the entire script. So again, if we edit this, this is what it looks like in as a script. Okay, so constant const choices equals an empty array, and then $game party dot members dot for each, and basically this line is going to take the names of each party member. It's pushing it to the array in the order that it happens. So push is adding something to the end of an array. And then it's going to push the option of never mind as well. So once it gets to here, it has essentially added every party member's name for each that's in the party, whether that be 1 through 8 in my example, and it's going to push that never mind. So now at this point in the script, all of those have been added to the array. Then it's going to basically do all of this is the message portion. It's all about the, just like that event command where you have the background and the position and the default and the cancel, right? And all those choices. So that's what these are doing. Okay, so the set choices, and then the background, and then the position type, and then the callback is basically providing for the player to make a selection, and that's going to count as an input, and then it's going to take that selection that they chose and add it to or set it to the value of variable 106. And then this is just waiting, right? So it's waiting for that to happen. Now, I hope I didn't mess up that explanation, but again, I'm going to provide in the description both this script and the link to the thread on the rpgmakerweb.com. All right. So now what's happening after that? It's going to do a conditional branch check. If the variable choice selection is less than 0, then it's going to jump to the label exit. And basically this is that never mind selection. So once again, it's a conditional branch. Okay, so that's in the event command conditional branch. If the variable 106 choice selection is less than 0, then it is going to jump to label exit, which is down here. Label exit, basically it just skips all of this. The other way to do this was could have just changed this. Instead of jump to label exit, we could have just used the exit event processing command. That would have done, it should do the same thing, is it should just exit the event. But anyway, so I'm not going to have that there, but you can either jump to the label or you could exit event processing. Then what's happening here is I'm taking this variable, so I'm setting a control variable of 190 party member choice. It's equal to, and what this is doing is it's taking what this is going to do is it's going to set the actor ID, which is a number of the actor, and it's going to set it to party member choice. And the way we're doing is the script for the party member actor ID is $game party.members, and again remember to capitalize correctly, open and closed parentheses, and then within the brackets here, right? Or yeah, those are I guess those are brackets or whatever, but within these things, this is where you have a number, and it's the position ID of the actor. Okay, so it's the position ID, and then it's going to be dot underscore actor ID. So this is going to get the ID of the actor, so a number associated with it. And this right here should be a number. And what we're doing is we're using a variable to represent that number. We're using that variable 106 up here, the choice that was made. And so to use a variable as just a number, it's $game variables dot value of 106. Okay. So let's just click on this so you can see it. So in the event command, under control variables, you select your variable, you're setting it to the script field. And this is the script. Okay. All right. And that's what that's doing. So it's basically taking the value of variable 106, and it's a number, and it's putting that in those brackets. Okay, not the curly bracket type, but the regular bracket type. And the dot underscore actor ID is basically referencing the number, the number value of the actor ID. Okay. And then after that, what it's basically doing is it's going to do a series of conditional branch checks to see which which actor are we talking about. So if party member choice, that's variable 190, if party member choice is equal to 1, then we're going to show text hello /n, and then the value of the the thingy, right? So if it's a 1, show the text. When you hover over this again, remember you get all of your choices. So /N is basically the nth actor, right? The nth actor in this instance. And then this is just copy and pasted 8 times because there's 8 possible party members, because there's 8 possible actors that you could, basically have based depending on what you're doing or testing. So I just copied and pasted this 7 more times and then changed the value. So changed the party member choice to a 2, and then changed it to /n2, 3 and 3. 4 and 4, 5 and 5, and so on and so forth. Did that 8 times because there are a total of 8 possible actors. If you had 20 possible actors, you'd have to do it 20 times, right? Or at least the way I'm doing it here. And that's the end of the event. So you notice over here, there's nothing fancy. It's just an image. It's not really moving. Priority is same as characters, so you're clicking on it, and the trigger is an action button. So if it's set to this, when I click on them on the map, it counts as an action button, versus if I walked up to them and then I had to click on them. And that's the entire event. So the biggest thing, the thing that's doing all of the work, is this script. And it's basically allowing you to, regardless of how many members are in your party, it's going to take the names of those party members and use them in the show choices, just like it would in the event command show choices. And it's also throwing in that never mind, so you can use that as a cancel option. If you didn't want that, then you'd have to modify it. And then once you have the script doing all the work of showing you the choices based on the party members and allowing the player to make a selection, then it's just saying, okay, what do I do with that selection? If the choice selection is less than 0, meaning that they basically selected the never mind option, then it's going to exit. It's going to jump to the label exit, or you could replace this with exit event processing. Basically, it's getting out of the event. And then if it's not that, it's going to, I used a different variable, right? Instead of rechecking the choice selection, I'm setting a different variable to the actor ID of that choice that they made. Okay, and I'm setting it the actor ID of the party members, and then just 8 conditional branch checks. If the variable 190 party member choice is equal to 1, then we're going to basically do something relating to that. And in this one, just for testing purposes, I wanted to make sure I was identifying the right person, so I just have that simple /n, right, the nth actor, right? The nth actor. And just to make sure it's doing what it's supposed to be doing, which it is. And that's the end of the event. Okay, it's that simple. So again, I am going to link to the thread, and first I'm going to check something. So I'm going to pause the video really quickly. Okay, so I turned the video back on. I just paused it really quickly because I wanted to check something. I am going to show you, this is the thread I'm going to link you to. So this is me, Zombie Kids Rule, uh, and I posted a question, and it was this link that I'm going to give you should actually take you to the second page of the event, of the thread, where I am asking. These are the two users that were helping me out, Caethyril and Rlyeh, I guess. But I want to give a big shout out to them because they helped out quite a bit here. And this is on page 2, and I'm basically saying, hey, here's what I did in my event, what I just showed you. This is my understanding, so this is all my understanding of what I think is happening, and can anybody double check and give a better explanation? So as you can see here, Caethyril did in fact come back and took the time to try to explain everything, gave some links to better understand how certain things work, went through the whole explanation, and then also Rlyeh did the same, came back and offered an additional clarification. And Rlyeh was the one who, if I remember correctly, actually proposed this text. Because in my original question, I was just trying to identify if a party slot is empty, because I was doing it the hard way. I was doing a whole bunch of show choices, party members, and different things, and eventually, basically, both Caethyril and Rlyeh came back and offered a much better way to do this. Okay, so this is the thread that hopefully will help you out if you want to better understand this better than I can give you as an explanation. Okay, so once again, thank you. I hope this is helpful. I know it's a really long, drawn out explanation. I don't really understand this quite as well as I would like to. I'm still trying to learn. I'm still trying to learn JavaScript. Maybe I'll get there. But anyway, I hope this was helpful. This is a very cool script. This is going to help me out a lot. There's a lot of things I want to do that are based on party member choices. Selecting a party member, and you don't know, because any type of game I want to do is not going to be limited to, you will just have these 4 actors, right? You will be limited and restricted to this. I want to make it where the player has choices of who is in their party, and who joins and who leaves. And when you do something like that, you have to have a mechanism where all of your events can say, okay, well, for this particular player, who's in the party at this particular time, because it could vary. If that's the type of game you want to do, it's going to change. It's not going to be the same 4 party members. It's not going to be the same 4 actors all the time. So if you're going to do something like that, you have to have efficient ways, or even non-efficient ways, of going through and saying, okay, who's in the party at this given time when this event is going to run. And so this is a very, very, very powerful, very great way to do it. Pretty efficient. So anyway, again, I hope this was helpful. I hope this explanation wasn't too confusing. And as always, if this is helpful, please consider liking, subscribing, getting notifications, leaving comments. I do try to respond to all comments. Although sometimes I'll be alerted to a comment in my notifications, and then I'll go to find the comment to respond to it, and the comment's gone. So I don't know whether somebody made a comment, I got a notification, and then they deleted it, or something weird is going on behind the scenes. But I do try to respond to every comment unless something weird is happening, behind the scenes. Again, I will give a big shout out to Caethyril, I believe, and Rlyeh for helping out with this. I told them ahead of time, a long time ago, months and months and months ago, that I was going to post this and give them credit because they did actually help me out a lot on this, and I'm very grateful for that. So I will post the script itself in the description. I will post a link to that thread so you can go check it out yourself, read through it, see if the explanation helps you out more. Um, and anyway, I hope everybody's having a great day. I'm going to try to get more of these videos up, over the course of the next week. While hopefully I have more time. Wi-Fi isn't great here, so uploading and stuff may take a while. But I'm going to try to get caught up on some of the things I've been experimenting with, and just things I haven't done videos for. So again, I hope everybody's having a great day. Again, thank you for watching. Thank you to all those folks who have subscribed. If you have any requests for me, or if you have questions, or if you have comments, by all means leave them, and again I will respond to them. And in the meantime, folks, happy gaming, happy game making, and I will talk to everyone later. Bye.